What's up, Goated Ones? Frank from the Goated Guild here, tearing you down to build you up. Episode 80 something. We got Sensos, which I just found. I believe this is an Israeli company. The proactive supply chain solution. Sensos digitizes supply chains, providing real time end to end global visibility, driving faster shipments, smaller inventories, and more efficient production planning. Okay, this is more B2B, but this is also with shipping and supply chain, which is my chosen hell. I ship a lot of physical goods in my lifetime, and having end-to-end global visibility, poof, sounds incredible. Because shipping is not a solved problem. There are so many issues. Um, So the preview on the right, I guess, is the different types of alerts, things. It shows the tags of different things people might have to deal with. So temperature is one. So definitely for food companies like a Tovala or a Kua that ships stuff that needs to be cold. Um, Knowing that the temperature is not what it's supposed to be is an important thing. Of course, people are messaging me as I'm doing this. I'm so bad at being a professional YouTuber. Hold on. And we're back. Okay. Um yes. So temperature is one, shock, making sure it doesn't get dropped. Security, I don't know what that means. Life cycle, I don't know what that is. Health, I don't know what that is. Um but for me, if I could just know where the hell the package is, I have a package, especially because now I source some things overseas. If I could just know where the package is, technically you're supposed to already have that information, but you cannot trust these. Like, there's so many exceptions where packages get lost. They're supposed to be returned, but I call in and they don't know where it is. I'm like, how y'all don't know where the package is? Like, it gets scanned everywhere. So I don't know. Having your own control over it is interesting. My question from the hero. This gets me interested, so this is a solid hero. I'm gonna give us a. It doesn't give the full kind of experience. I don't know exactly how this manifests, what the product technically is. I'm assuming it's some kind of a patch or something on your label that like has sensors. Hopefully something thin that does that, but I don't exactly know how that works. I have to assume. So I think if they showed that, that would make it a little bit better, but still pretty solid. I gotta give that probably 8.4 on that one. Let's see what the rest of the site is. People trust it. That's cool. Um, I never really know. I feel like people need to get more specific with their social proof. Like the more specific, the better. Like if it's just like your buddy at Sony ships out like 2 packages a month, that is way different than like all of Sony is using your services to do XYZ. You understand? So anyway, supply chains are broken. That is a fact. Sensos connects them. So it does look like a raised patch type of thing. And then you get all this data. I don't really know what health and life cycle, what that means in this context. I really don't. Sensos globally connected labels report 6-dimensional telemetry. Shipment data in real time without requiring any additional infrastructure. For real? Does it cost less than $1? Because I don't need to add to my fulfillment cost. Like, this needs to be cheap. Like, a quarter. 50 cents max. If I'm going to use it. I mean, I guess it depends on your product. Like, if you're selling food and it's like $10 or $20 a meal, you know, yeah, that's it's an interesting thing. The sync control tower platform in terms of millions of data points to distill actionable supply chain alerts. Okay. Innovative form factor, size for a credit card, smart geolocation, alert on movement, dwell, temperature, arrival, and do not enter zones. This is really for people who are more serious shipping people. Condition monitoring, shipment security. Oh yeah, that's good. Nice. Flight safe. Since labor requires no special declaration and is approved for flight by Tier 1 cargo airlines. Nice. Sony. Sensos label gives Sony control over every box we need to deliver. Okay. As I asked earlier, they do have a more specific. This is the supply chain risk and security manager for Sony Europe. Pretty legit sounding. Let me just double check he's a real person, because the baddies have ruined it for everyone. Why is it Ukrainian still? I don't understand. All right. Anyway, I believe it's a real person, so let's get back to it. No more data overload and reactive problem solving. Sync helps logistics teams proactively solve exceptions before they adversely affect the business. How? Does that mean I have to follow up, or does the platform follow up? 50 ready for dispatch, 7 ready for reverse logistics, 15 in transit, stuff that's at risk. Because like once it's at risk, like what can you do really? I think it's more. I think it's probably that you can go back to your suppliers and say like, hey, you screwed up here, so I'm gonna need my money back. It's easy to use and there's no need for additional infrastructure, manual scanning, or expensive tools. Digital lead at Bayer. Okay. I care about the pricing. I get that this is probably an enterprise-y type solution. They probably don't want to share that. It was spun off from Sony. Huh. I like that kind of story because then you know it's like a real pain point. I've shipped probably a couple 100,000 items, and especially shipping to India. I mean, it kind of depends on the price, but I would have loved to have real data on where stuff is, because there's a ton of t-shirts that just got lost. I remember we shipped some t-shirts for TechCrunch Disrupt, and we shipped it early and on time. Early, and we killed it on terms of the print, and the hotel it was shipped to definitely lost it somewhere. It's in some back room somewhere, and the result, they never got the shirts, and I think they stopped using us because they they think we screwed up. So this would have helped. Needed this, but okay. Nice team. How many people? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 18. Some virtuals. Okay. I think for me, page is pretty good. I like this kind of section. I think more people need to use these because people can choose which one they really care about, and hopefully they have like a mixed panel point, or they're using full story to show which of these is the most important. Because if there's one that is more important, you might want to change the order to fit what people care about, or maybe break these out into their own section so that you force people to see the form factor. But I'm curious about the pricing. That's the only thing. What's the volume? Do I need to pay a monthly fee, or is it? Yeah, there's more questions that are not answered here, and I think that's kind of the point. This is a full e-com enterprise sales flow. So I get that they probably don't need this. There's enough here to entice you to want to try it. So I'm pretty impressed with the product and the pricing. If I was doing customer feedback for them, I would do it from 2 different perspectives, because I'm curious if there's like an end user component to this too. So maybe you show people exactly where their package is, and maybe there's guarantees on like, okay, it's been in cold storage the whole time. It gives a little bit more trust to the end user. So I'm curious if they interview end users about this, if they interact with that part of the product, if there is that part of the product. So I'd want to talk to some end customers to get their feedback. I'd also talk to um, somebody other than Sony about why they use it. Get a real case study, because there's no real case studies on here. Um, because this probably affects a couple different parts of the business, and I'm curious to know like how it gets spread internally. So is it, obviously there's supply chain managers, but there might be just like just product people, or there's compliance people for certain types of items that want to know that we have a system tracking, make sure they're compliant on things. There's a lot of different people that could interface with this in a company. Um, so in order to figure out which one is kind of a good buying point, or who to market to, maybe you have different marketing pages for different um, people within a company. So I'd want to talk to at least one of those companies that's not Sony, that has decent usage, and kind of interview a bunch of people within the business to find out more about it, and then get some of these testimonial videos, produce some of those pages. Yeah, because I think this is a great product. I haven't actually seen anything like this, and I do know some investors that are in this field as well. I'm curious their thoughts. But anyway, this page, I'm gonna give the page a solid. Actually, I'm gonna give it a 9. I'm a 9.0. This one. It does what it's supposed to do. The point of this, every website has a different purpose. Some people want to get signups. You want to pique people's interest to get a meeting. This is like a deck in a website form. So for enterprise, it makes more sense to do it this way. So cool. I dig this one. I'm glad I found this startup. It's something. This is why I love doing these. Like I get to learn about how people are innovating, and seeing some different things in terms of how people product market what they're working on. So 8.4 in the hero, 9.0 on the full web page. If you're looking for a way to track your shipments and make sure your supply chain is compliant, whether it's temperature, timing, just to track all your packages and not have to rely on the third-party carriers, check out Sensos, sensos.io. If you're looking for customer feedback, check out goatedguild.com. As always, brush your teeth, walk in the corner. Denbo out.